Imagine this for a moment. In rural Japan, many adults in their 70s still walk to local markets every day, carrying groceries without help. In parts of southern Europe, people over 60 routinely climb steep stone streets as part of daily life. Yet in many modern countries, people begin to feel physically weak shortly after retirement. Same human body, very different outcomes. So the question is weakness after 60 inevitable? The real question is, why does it happen so often, and what can actually be done about it? Here's a statistic that tends to surprise people. According to data summarized by Harvard Medical School, adults can lose up to 1% of muscle mass every year after the age of 50, and strength declines even faster, closer to 3% per year. By age 70, that loss can be the difference between climbing stairs confidently and needing a handrail or help. But stay with me, because the most powerful fix is not what most people think, and I'll come back to that near the end. I'm going to walk you through this in a ranked order, starting with what matters least and ending with what matters most for restoring strength, balance, and independence after 60. Number 4 on the list is protein intake. This matters biologically because aging muscles become less sensitive to protein, a phenomenon known as anabolic resistance. Your muscles need a stronger signal to repair and rebuild than they did at 30. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, including researchers from McMaster University, showed that older adults who consumed about 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein per meal had significantly better muscle protein synthesis than those who ate smaller amounts, even when total calories were the same. The instruction is simple and practical. Aim to include a palm-sized portion of protein at each main meal, such as eggs, fish, yogurt, lentils, or chicken. Safety-wise, if you have kidney disease or are unsure about protein needs, this is something to confirm with your physician. Increase gradually and focus on food first, not supplements. Number 3 is vitamin D and neuromuscular signaling. This matters because vitamin D receptors exist in muscle and nerve tissue, not just bones. Low levels are associated with slower reaction time and increased fall risk. Researchers at the University of Zurich reported that older adults with sufficient vitamin D levels demonstrated significantly better lower limb strength and balance, with fall rates reduced by roughly 20% compared to deficient peers. The instruction is straightforward. Have your vitamin D level checked during routine blood work, and if low, supplement only under medical guidance. Progression advice here is important. More is not better. Excessive dosing can be harmful, especially when combined with calcium. Number 2 is balance-specific training, which is often ignored. Biologically, balance is not just about muscles. It's about how your brain, inner ear, eyes, and joints communicate. Without practice, that communication weakens. One of the most respected programs in this area comes from the University of Otago in New Zealand. Their clinical trials showed a reduction in falls of up to 35% in adults over 65 who performed simple balance exercises several times per week. The instruction doesn't require a gym. Standing on one leg near a counter, slow heel-to-toe walking, or controlled sit-to-stand movements are enough to stimulate the system. Safety is critical here. Always hold a stable surface at first and progress only when you feel steady. Balance improves with consistency, not bravery. Now we come to the most essential factor, and the one most people misunderstand: progressive strength training, especially for the legs and hips. This matters biologically because muscle weakness after 60 is driven more by disuse than by age itself. Landmark studies published in the Journal of Applied Physiology, including work from Tufts University, showed that adults in their 70s and even 80s increased leg strength by over 30% after just 10 to 12 weeks of supervised resistance training. That is not reversing aging, it's restoring function. The instruction here is surprisingly modest. Sit to stands from a chair, step-ups onto a low stair, and controlled leg presses or resistance band work 2 to 3 times per week are enough to trigger adaptation. The key is progression.
Start with a level that feels easy, then slowly increase repetitions or resistance over weeks, not days. Pain is not a goal. Stability, control, and confidence are. This is where I want to slow down for a moment, because this final point is not really about muscles, it's about dignity. When leg strength returns, people stop planning their lives around fear of falling. They stop avoiding stairs, travel, and social events. I've seen patients describe the moment they stood up from a chair without pushing off their knees as life-changing, not because it made them younger, but because it gave them back control. Weakness after 60 is not a personal failure. It's a predictable biological response to how modern life removes movement. The fix is not extreme exercise or motivation. It's targeted, safe, repeatable actions that tell your nervous system and muscles you are still needed. If this topic resonates with you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share your age, what movement feels hardest right now, or a small win you've noticed recently. These conversations matter because strength at this stage of life is not about performance. It's about staying independent, capable, and confident in your own body for as long as possible.